Hare Krishna. So welcome to the Srimad Bhagavatam class. So today we are going to discuss about the how to develop the desire to go back to Krishna. So before we start, we will offer our Mangalacharan. Om Namo Bhagavate Vāsudevāya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vāsudevāya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vāsudevāya. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Gana-anjana-salakaya Chakhurunimiletam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sapitam Jena Bhutale Soyam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati So Padantikam Bandeham Sri Guru Sri Jutapadakammalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavanam Cha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Sri Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Laitam Sri Vishakam Vitam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishavanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatribhyascha Kurpa Sindhu Vaivacha Patitanam Pavanabhya Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pasat Desatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So thank you very much. So we are going to discuss about the most important subject matter, that how to desire, how to develop the desire for going back to Godhead. At present, our problem and predicament is that we have a strong desire to stay in this dirty material world. We have a strong desire to stay in this obnoxious material world. And our desire to go back to Krishna is very weak. So this is our problem and predicament. And we have to reverse it. Unless we develop the taste, we develop the propensity, we develop the desire to go back to Godhead, it is not possible for us to go back to Godhead, which is the ultimate goal of every living entities. So how to develop that taste, how to develop that desire, that is very, very important subject matter. So today we are to choose a verse that we will discuss on this subject matter. So here this beautiful verses they are in Bhagavatam, chapter 1, canto 1 to 26. Sruta Goswami spoken very nice verse. So in this beautiful verses it says that śuśrūṣoḥ bhagavat-kathā-ruciḥ. So śuśrūṣoḥ bhagavat-kathā-ruciḥ śuśrūṣoḥ vāsudeva-kathā-ruciḥ syān mahat-sevayā viprāḥ puṇya-tīrtha-niṣevaṇāt. So in this beautiful verses it is stated here that śuśrūṣoḥ or twice born sages, by serving those devotees who are completely freed from all vice, the great service is done. By such service one gains affinity for hearing the message of Vasudeva. So here it is said that śuśrūṣoḥ. Śuśrūṣoḥ means the eagerness, to eager, that develop that desire, propensity, the eagerness. śuśrūṣoḥ. Śraddadhāna means with faith. vāsudeva-kathā-ruciḥ, the transcendental topics of Vasudeva. So this is a very important, because unless we hear or we develop the taste for hearing the Vāsudeva-kathā, we cannot go back to Godhead. Because our desire is weak, then how to execute that desire? Our desire has to be strong. Our determination has to be strong. Prabhupada used to say that Krishna consciousness is not a problem, but is not so difficult. But our desire or our determination, that is, to develop the determination is difficult. Srila Prabhupada used to give a very nice analogy, nice story regarding this. He used to say that there was a sparrow and he laid the eggs in the bank of ocean. Then ocean took away the eggs, the waves of the ocean. So the sparrow was very, very sad, depressed, and she approached to ocean and begging him for to return these eggs. But ocean was very adamant and he told he cannot return. The sparrow was but determined, and she threatened that if you do not give, I will dry up your entire ocean. And that time the ocean was laughing, LOL, laughing actually. A small sparrow, how he is audacious to issue this statement to ocean. So he was laughing, ocean was laughing by such a false audacity. So, but the sparrow was so determined. Every day she goes and in her peak she took one drop from the ocean and took it out from this and throw it outside the ocean. In this way, she was trying to dry up, although it is a Herculean task, impossible task. And that determination caught the attention of Garuda, the carrier of Vishnu. And Garuda came to help her by seeing the determination. Garuda is also a bird, same families. So Garuda approached to ocean to return the eggs. Ocean was now frightened because he knows the power of Garuda. So he returned it to sparrow. So the underlying factor, the lesson in this story is that if one is determined, the God helps. God helps those who helps themselves. That means the determination that caught the attention. If we are determination, we are sincere, serious. Śuśrūṣoḥ means sincere to hear, sincere to go back to Godhead. śruddadhānasya bhagavata-kathā-ruciḥ, vāsudeva-kathā-ruciḥ. So one has to be eager. One has to develop that desire for that. At present, we do not have this. We have no taste. You can see that how the great Acharya Rupa Goswami is very nicely, very beautiful verses in here. So he is desiring. See, we should learn from the Acharya. Mahajana jena gata-sapanta. So the Acharyas in these beautiful verses, Rupa Goswami is desiring. You see here the example of a great Acharya, how they desire. Tunde tandavini ratim vitanute tunda balilabde kanna krodho kadambini gatayate kanna buddhebhyaspiram cheta prangana sangini vijayate sarvendriyanam kritim. So here it is very beautifully chanted. I do not know how much nectar the two syllables of Krishna have produced. When the holy name of Krishna is chanted, it appears to dance within the mouth. We then desire many, many mouths. When that name enters the whole of the ears, we desire many, many, many millions of years. When the holy name dances in the courtyard of the heart, it conquers the activities of the mind, therefore all the senses become inert. So here the desire of a great Acharya Rupa Goswami, he desires a million of years, millions of tongues, because he has already got the taste. The taste. We have no taste. In one mouth, 16 round also we are not able to chant. What to speak of, we do not need so many mouths. 16 round also not chanted. Same thing Haridas, Namachara Haridas Thakur, 22 hours he was chanting, 2 hours he is doing any other thing. In our case, we are doing 2 hours, even less than that, chanting. But rest of the things, all non-devotional activities. Namo gane sada ruci, namo ruci, the taste, is to develop that taste, develop the desire to go back to Godhead. Bhakti Vinod Thakur say that this is Bhagavad Dharma, namo ruci. First is namo ruci. All other activities are subservient to that ruci, to develop the taste. Because vāsudeva-kathā, we have no taste, then we cannot steady in our devotional service. We cannot go back to Godhead. It is stated in beautifully in these verses, 11 canto, 11.644, that very nice. Tava vikriditam Krishna nennam parama mangalam kanna piyusam asadya tyajanti anyaspriham janaha. O my dear Krishna, your pastime are supremely auspicious for the mankind, are an intoxicating beverage for the ears. Tasting such pastime, people forget the desire for other things. See, we are now at present absorbed in the desire for so many material subject matter. We have so many material desires. So here it is stated very nicely that if somebody has a propensity to hear, or somebody hears the Vāsudeva vikriditam, tava vikriditam Krishna, your pastime, transcendental pastime, then all this unnecessary desire, unwanted desire, material desire will be vanished. So the topics of Krishna is very, very potent to awaken our taste. And to know that, to hear these topics, we have to go to a devotees. Therefore it is said that mahat-sevayā ahur vimukta tamodvaram joshitam sangi sangam. Mahat-sevayā, you have to take shelter of a devotees. We have to serve, you have to render service to a pure devotee. So here it is stated in this another verses also, this very beautiful things, that how the desire in this Vidura and Maitra, their toppings, they're talking about these things. Here it is said that Vidura, Maitra is saying that for one who is anxious to engage constantly in hearing such topics, Krishna Katha gradually increases his indifference towards all other things. Such constant remembrance of the lotus feet of the Lord Krishna by the devotee who has achieved the transcendental bliss vanquishes all his miseries without delay. So who is anxious to engage constantly hearing such topics, Krishna Katha, gradually increases his difference towards all other things. So whole idea is centered around how to develop a propensity or taste for hearing Vāsudeva-kathā. Unless we develop the propensity of Vāsudeva-kathā, we cannot terminate this material existence. We cannot terminate the material miseries. We cannot go back to Godhead. So it is therefore today's verses say that this Vāsudeva-kathā, the urge to hear Vāsudeva-kathā is developed when one serving the pure devotees. So today that syān mahat-sevayā viprāḥ puṇya-tīrtha-niṣevaṇāt. Mahat-sevayā means to service, to render service to a pure devotee. Then we will develop that urge. Ruchi is not, what is the meaning of mahat-sevayā? Mahat-sevayā means to serve a pure devotee, means First of all, mahat-sevayā. Mahat means those who are Mahatma, not ordinary soul. Mahatma means Mahatmanastu mam partha daivam prakritim asritam. Bhajante mam ananya manasa. Those who are 24 hours engaged in the service of the Krishna. That is called Mahatma. They are Mahatma. Mahatmanastu mam partha daivim prakriti asya. They are under the shelter of Yogamaya. So therefore, when you serve that person like Mahatma, bhunamanam janman mate jnanavana mam prapande, sa Mahatma, sudullabha. That Mahatma, if you approach, those who are 24 hours engaged, and render service can be two types, Bapu or Bani. But essentially this Bani, instruction. The instruction of the Lord, so instruction of a pure devotee or Mahatma, if we follow rigidly, sincerely, then we will develop that urge or propensity to go back to Godhead. We will our desire to go back to Godhead become strong. We are not associating, we are not hearing properly. We have not come to the stage of ruchi is not very easy. Although it is easy, but it is at the same time difficult if you do not follow it. Mahat-sevayā means following the instruction of the Supreme Spiritual Master or a Mahatma, great saintly person. So what is the instruction? See, instruction has been given that how usually the process of developing this ruchi is there in this Rupa Goswami has given that how it has been, developed. So it is said that adau śraddha. So it is said that there is a process, adau śraddha. Śraddha means śuśrūṣoḥ śraddadhānasya with faith. Faith is very preliminary requisite to come into the Krishna consciousness life. So the cultivation, the culture of Krishna consciousness begins with Śraddha. Śraddha means appreciation. Oh, very appreciate, oh, they are worshipping the Krishna, So the appreciation comes. Oh, that is good. So that is called adau, preliminary faith, means appreciation. Tatha sadhu sangha. Then when they appreciate, then they want to come to temple or want to associate with devotee. That is called sadhu sangha. That is very important, sadhu sangha, because this is one of the 5 limbs, prominent principal limbs of bhakti. That is sadhu sangha. Sadhu sangha means there is a bhajana kriya. Sadhu sangha does not mean there is a talks about the politics, sociology, war, what is going on in Russia and Ukraine. Sadhu sangha means hearing. The perfection of sadhu sangha based on the hearing Hari Katha. Bhagavad Gita also Krishna says that madachita madagata prana bodhoyanti parasparam kathayanta cha mam nityam tushtanti cha ramanti cha. So the sadhu sangha does not mean any kind of mundane discussion about any kind of mundane subject matter. No. Sadhu sangha means kathayanta cha mam nitya. There is always a hearing and chanting about the topics of Krishna. That is sadhu sangha. In this way, when there is a topics discussion about among devotees, there is a great benefit actually. It is stated in this beautiful verses, we will come back to this process, that the sadhu sangha, by this sadhu sangha what is happening, that परस्पर अनुकथानाम पावनम भगवत जस मिठो रतिर मिठास्तुते निर्भीति मिठात्मना. Beautiful verses 11-330. Paraspara anukathanam, when you discuss the topics, when your discussion is going on, when two people meet, they discuss. When two devotees meet, they also discuss. But they discuss about Pavanam Bhagavata Jasa, because they discuss about Bhagavata Jasa, the glories of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, it is purifying, Pavanam, purifying. It is purifying, because we are now contaminated. Our consciousness is absorbed in so many material subject matter. Our desire to going back to home is very weak, but desire to stay in this material world, despite the fact that howsoever you have desire, your strong desire, at the expense of material nature, nobody can stay here. They have to be kicked out. But still we have this desire to stay here, because our consciousness is now contaminated, adulterated. Therefore, by paraspara anukathanam, by discussing about the subject matter of Hari, Krishna-katha, Hari-katha, Bhagavan-katha, vāsudeva-kathā-ruciḥ, pavanam bhagavata jasa, it will purify. And not only purify, mitho rathir mithas tustir nirvitta mithatmanaha. The process is most purifying, and devotees thus develop their loving friendship. They feel mutual happiness, satisfaction. Thus, encouraging one another, they are able to give up the material sense gratification, which is the cause of all suffering. They are able to give up the material desire. So, therefore, this sadhu sangha is very, very important. This adau śraddadhānasya sadhu sangha, very important. By sadhu sangha, one develop that, one get the opportunity of hearing vāsudeva-kathā. Atha bhajana kriya, then when it is very, when it is the bhajana kriya, when the sadhu sangha is very strong and very, very often overwhelming, then next stage is bhajana kriya. Bhajana kriya means engage in devotional service. Properly initiated by spiritual master, and that is encouraged by sadhu sangha. Sadhu sangha is very important, because sadhu sangha, the sadhus, the devotees, they encourage for the bhajana kriya. They encourage to get initiated spiritual master officially and engage in this devotional service. So, therefore, this bhajana kriya is there. Then tattva anartha nirviti. When there is a bhajana kriya under this guidance of spiritual master, if one engages in the cultivation of Krishna consciousness, then there is a anartha nirviti. Anartha, artha, anartha. Anartha means it has value. In material world, all this bad quality has got value. Dambha, darpa, all this kama, krodho, lobho, oh, very young, angry man. That is a glorification. That is artha. The same thing in spiritual world is anartha. This is anartha, spiritual world. But in material world, what is artha? In spiritual world, that is anartha. Ye nisha sarvabhutanam jagrati. What is that? Ye nisha sarvabhutanam tasyam jagrati samyami. What is night for them, that is day for the introspective sages. What is value for in this material world, like dambha, darpa, gara, kama? Oh, he is so passionate. Oh, such a passionate man, very successful. He is going to very successful soon. So this is their thing. So this is their that they are, this kind of anarthas has got value, artha, in this material world. Oh, very egoistic person, very self-respect, very competitive, and jealous means very competitive. But these are anartha. So all this unwanted habit is a impediment, is a stumbling blocks on our path in spiritual life. Therefore, the bhajana kriya, the result of bhajana kriya means to eradicate, to vanish, vanquish, vanish, extinguish all this anartha nirvritti, all this unwanted habit. Then when anartha nirvritti is gone, tato nishta, nishta means the faith, the initial faith, initial appreciation for the Krishna consciousness, for devotees, for God, everything become now, nishta means very firm, very strong become. It will become very strong. Tato nishta, then ruchi will come, the taste. Then taste will develop. After the taste, there is a attachment, there is a emotions, there is a bhava, and then love. That is ultimate. So here the ruchi comes after all this process. That means in order to get it develop the ruchi, we have to firmly fixed up. Firmly fixed up means we have to have no anartha, unwanted habit, clear up all, cleansing all unwanted thing, anya vilasita sunyam. Only desire to go back to Godhead. All other desires should be vanished. All other desire in this material world should be vanished. Then only we can have a nishta. We should go for reverse order. To get the ruchi, we should have a nishta. For nishta, we anartha nirvritti. For anartha nirvritti, we should go for bhajana kriya. We should have a proper bhajana kriya. For proper bhajana kriya, we must have a sadhu sangha. For sadhu sangha, we have a preliminary faith appreciation. So all this process are reverse engineering process, reverse way. So develop the taste is not easy thing. So syān mahat-sevayā viprāḥ means to service a viprāḥ or engage in pure devotees means you follow this. These are the instruction of this devotee that how to follow the regulative principle. Morning getting up in Mangala Arati, chanting is minimum 16 round. Then all other regulative principle which are facilitating to develop a urge, propensity, desire to go back to Godhead. That is very important. Therefore our Shastra is saying that how we have to be very, very determined in our Krishna consciousness. Particularly determined in executing spiritual master. Jasya prasada bhagavat prasada. Jasya prasada means his mercy, to invoke the mercy of spiritual master. In order to invoke the mercy of spiritual master, one has to follow the regulative principle more rigidly. If we are lacking it, then there is very difficult that we cannot invoke the mercy. There is a very nice analogy Prabhupada used to give that there's a story of Akbar and Birbal. One time Akbar has a competitions that in a very cold winter, if anybody can dip in the water and stay for one day, whole night, then he is going to win. So many people participate, and one person, he became winner. But one minister was there which is very mischief. He does not want to give this prize. Therefore he said that this person he is cheating because he got the heat from a 2 kilometer away. There was a temple and there was a candle was there, and he was getting that heat from that one, from that lamp. So Akbar as usual agreed to that. But that person was very upset. He approached a Birbal, the very clever minister. Birbal say, okay, I will do something. So he invited Akbar for a lunch. And Akbar is very, very happy, and he came and he was waiting to be served lunch. But every time Birbal is telling, wait, please wait for some time, the cooking is going on. 1 hour, 2 hours. Then this Akbar was very exasperated. What's going on, Birbal? What cooking going on? So long already. Let me go to kitchen. Then he went to kitchen. He found out that there is a fire down and the pot is hanging up. Then Akbar was very angry. He told how it is possible to cook. The pot is on the wall and the cooking fire is down. It was not attached on the top of the fire. Then Akbar immediately answered that how can a person take the light from a 2-kilometer temple, standing in the winter night, standing in the river, standing in the water, within water. So Akbar realized that. The story Prabhupada says that unless you have to be always in fire of Krishna consciousness, otherwise the cooking of bhakti, the bhakti cannot be cooked properly. So fire of Krishna consciousness must be there. That means we have to have always fire of desire, fire of taste. Fire of executing devotional service rigidly. Then only we can get it. Therefore, the sadhu sangha is very important. The sadhu sangha or engage sadhu sangha along with the person. You have to associate with the person who has already developed the taste. Then only it is easy for us to follow the regulative principle rigidly. It is stated in beautiful verses. In Jada Bharat is giving a very nice answer to this question, how to develop, unless we attach to it. So in this beautiful verses in Bhagavatam it is stated here, that unless we attach to a person who has already developed the taste for Lord. Here something wrong in my ear, so I can show you here. So in this beautiful verses it is stated that yat sanga labda nijavirya vaibhavam tirtha muhu spansprastam hin manasam. So here in this beautiful verses it is stated that by associating with person whom the Supreme Personality of Godhead Mukunda is all in all, one can hear of his powerful activity and soon come to understand them. These activities are so potent that simply by hearing them one immediately associates with Lord. See? So here it is that by associating with a person whom the Supreme Personality, that means who has developed this taste of hearing, if you hear from them, then we will infect it, we will contract it, and we also will develop the propensity to hear. We will also develop the propensity of taste. We have also developed the propensity to go back to Godhead. So therefore we have to associate with a person who have developed and hear from them. then the taste will come, the desire will come to go back to Godhead. That is very important. And it is stated also further in these beautiful verses that in these verses in 5:12 that simply by giving up association of worldly people and associating with the exalted devotees, anyone can attain perfection and knowledge. With sword of knowledge can cut into piece of illusory association within this material world. Through the association of devotee, one can engage in the service of the Lord by hearing, chanting, Shravanam, Kirtanam. Thus one can revive his Brahman Krishna consciousness and sticking to the cultivation of Krishna consciousness, return home back to Godhead, even in this life. So even in this life, one can go back to Godhead by simply following the process. What is this process? That simply by associating with people, devotees, exalted devotees who have already developed that desire to go back home, who have already have a taste, propensity, who have developed the ruchi. Therefore it is says, śuśrūṣoḥ śraddadhānasya vāsudeva-kathā-ruciḥ. Vāsudeva-kathā is very, very important, but to develop, because people are not interested to hear actually. Prabhupada says that hearing is very, very important. Our spiritual life begins with the hearing process. Actually the taste to develop the propensity to hear is the beginning of spiritual life. Prabhupada says that he was initiated he met his spiritual master in 1922. Then he was away from the Calcutta. He could not meet his spiritual master Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Then he was asking, every time he used to ask his god brother, when my spiritual master is going to speak. He is so much interested in hearing. And that caught the attention of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. Immediately he noted, he told that because you are so much interested to hear me, and I am initiating you. And he was initiated in 1933. That is the first best qualification. That is the symptoms of advancement to hear. It's not easy to sit down and hear, Hari Katha. No. As soon as we say Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudeva, there is sleeping zone. We are into sleeping zone. As soon as there is a chanting of Mahaprasade Govinda, immediately wake up. Oh, now prasadam time. Because this taste is not there. Rupa Goswami says that nectar of instruction. We are a jaundice patient. Just like a jaundice patient. He has lost the appetite. But as we take the precaution, take the medicine, as we become healthier or cure, proportionately we will develop the taste. Therefore, curing process is that you associate with a devotee, advanced devotee always, who has already developed a taste for that. So this is very important things. See, it is stated by this beautiful verses is stated by the Kapil Dev. Her body was quoted 323. So in these beautiful verses, it is said that mahat-sevayā shriṇvanti kathanti ca tapanti vividya tapanaitam madagata cetasa. Engage constantly in chanting and hearing about me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sadhu do not suffer from material misery, because they are always filled with the thought of my pastime and activity. That is the benefit of that. When one is hearing and always contemplating and always absorbed in the pastime of the thought, pastime and activities of the Supreme Lord, then they do not suffer for any misery. Not only that, they will ultimately go back. In next verses it is say that that my mother, O virtuous lady, there are qualities of great devotee who are free from all attachment. You must seek attachment to such holy men. For this counter the pernicious effect of material attachment. Our desire is not so strong to go back to Godhead. On the other hand, we have a strong desire to stay home. Why? Because of attachment. Sangjag sanga dosa. We have sanga sanjayate kamaha. The sanga dosa. We are infected by sanga dosa. We have bad attachment. We have material attachment. So this is a material attachment will bind us perpetually. This is a pernicious effect, detrimental effect of this false or material attachment, that it will bind us perpetually. That is the root cause of our binding, material binding. Therefore it is said that we should associate with a person, or we must seek attachment to such a holy man who are free from all attachment. That is called yas seva, mahat-sevayā, yat viprāḥ seva-niṣevaṇāt. Yat mahat-sevayā viprāḥ, mahat-sevayā. So you should serve this, that your devotees, or you follow their instruction. Yat mahat-sevayā viprāḥ. So that is stated in this Kapil Dev also, same thing he has told. And the next verse it says, Satang prasangam mama virya samminda bhavati hit kanna rasayana katha tad josanad apavarga vartamani sadha raktir bhaktir anukramisati. Satang prasangam mama virya samminda. When you hear the Krishna-katha, vāsudeva-kathā, in association with this devotee, pure devotee from a pure devotee, like we are hearing actually from Prabhupada, bhavanti hitkanna rasayana katha. Bhavanti means it become heart and kanna, ear. Rasayana katha, very relisable, very pleasing to heart and ear. Not boring. Boring means we will not develop a taste. It is relisable because it is spoken by the satang prasangam, those pure devotees. Mama virya, the glories of the Lord, when it is spoken or when it is issued from a pure devotee, that is more relisable to our heart and ears. And what is the effect of that? That effect is that tad josanad asu apavarga vartamani. As soon as we hear the Krishna-katha, vāsudeva-kathā, from that mahat-sevayā viprāḥ, the great Mahatma, great devotees, tad josanad asu apavarga vartamani. Then our going back to Godhead, the desire for going back to Godhead becomes strong, and we will execute tad josanad apavarga vartamani sad. By cultivating such knowledge, one gradually becomes advanced on the path of liberation. So we are on the path of liberation. It will speed up, expedite the path, expedite our process of going back to Godhead. Because it will develop a desire. It's so relisable, just like a food which is relisable, we will have a desire to eat for that food. Similarly, when vāsudeva-kathā is heard from a pure devotee, it is so relisable, we develop the taste. And by the effect of that taste for hearing, our path of liberation or going back to Godhead becomes so strong and easy. Thereafter he is freed and his attraction becomes fixed, then real devotion, devotional service. Then all these other desires, which is very strong, material desire, which is strong, that become weakened, that becomes slackened. On the other hand, the desire for going back to Godhead, going back to Krishna, become strong. So that is the process, mahat-sevayā dvaram ahur vimukta. That is the process, yat mahat-sevayā viprāḥ. By this process of associating with sadhu and following their instruction, advanced devotee particularly, then all this propensity or eagerness will develop. śuśrūṣoḥ vāsudeva-kathā-ruciḥ. Then this eager to hear Vāsudeva-kathā will come. Now we have no eager, no taste for, nobody hearing. Prabhupada is very particular about devotees, very chastising those devotees who are not interested in hearing. Prabhupada says that our hearing is first business. We do not hear, we cannot chant properly, we cannot do any service properly. Bhakti begins with hearing process. Because at the contamination heart, the material attachment, that makes our material desire strong, That has to be slackened, that has to be weakened. For that we have to have this hearing process. Cheta darpana marjanam bhava mahadavagni. Sinvatam sokatha Krishna puṇya-sravana kirtana hudantustani abhadrani. All the abhadra, there are two things, bhadra and abhadra. All abhadras are like anartha, all anartha. Lost, anger, greed, jealous, everything which has no value, anartha. No artha, anartha. Devalued. Just like you go to another country, your currency become valueless. You cannot purchase anything by your currency. You have to use their currency. Similarly, all this artha in this material world is useless in spiritual world. So we have to take out all the anartha and create the artha, real artha. We have to go for exchange of money exchange. That money exchange is called Sinvatam Sokatha Krishna puṇya-sarvana kirtana. Punya, the piety, spiritual piety. That is called money exchange. You can exchange the money. We can get that anartha, artha, real value. Replace anartha with artha. Nityam mahat-sevayā bhagavati uttama sloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki. Naistiki means fixed up, firm. Then the ruchi will come. When you nityam mahat-sevayā, when every day regularly we hear the Bhagavatam, Krishna-katha, vāsudeva-kathā, then we become firm, fixed. Nishtha will come. After nishtha there is a ruchi, taste will come. Otherwise no taste. In the mode of passion and ignorance, when there is a anartha, there is inauspiciousness in the heart, when there is a dirty thing in the heart, we cannot develop the taste. We have to cleanse that one. In order to cleanse that, we have to hear from a pure devotee. Those who have already developed that taste. Nasta prayesu abhadresu nityam mahat-sevayā bhagavati uttama sloke bhaktir bhavati. Then all this nasta prayesu abhadra, all contamination, all material attachment that making our desire so strong for this material world become weakened. Then what will happen? Tadarajastamo bhavo kamo lobho dayasya chetete anvidam stitam satte prasidhati. Then as soon as irrevocable loving service is established in the heart, the effect of nature of modern passion, ignorance, such as loss, desire, hankering, disappear from the heart. Then devotee is established in goodness and become completely happy. So how the effect of hearing, all this effect of hearing. Once you hear means how you can easily go back to Godhead, easily develop the desire to go back to Godhead. Evam prasanna manasa bhagavata bhakti jogata bhagavata tattva vijnanam mukta sangasya jayate. Thus established in the mode of unalloyed goodness, the man whose mind has been enlivened by contact with devotional service to the Lord gains positive scientific knowledge of the personality of Godhead in stage of liberation from all material association. So now we are free from the anartha nirvritya, material association, by this process of hearing. Then finally, what will happen? Vidhiyate sarva sansaya. Vidhayate hurdaya granthi. Hurdaya granthi means knot. That is attachment. Attachment is so knotted, very difficult to loosen it, slacken it, cut it, weaken it. The desire is so strong for staying in this material world, is so strong. It's very difficult if you do not follow the process of hearing, regular hearing. And that regular hearing can be effected by mahat-sevayā, by engaging in devotional service, means executing their instruction very rigidly. Morning getting up, chanting. All these things, by doing all regulative principle, we develop the urge for hearing from them, and that hearing will result in cutting up all unwanted thing, all this weakness, hudaya granthis, hudaya daurvalyam, hudaya granthis, all this hard knot, which is very hard knot. Te episatantam urudham nibaddha. It was knotted in very three ropes together. Adhyatmik Adidavik Adivu. 3 ropes, they have been tightened. So very difficult to loosen it. Chindante sarva sansaya. All doubt we have whether this is right, that is right, what is my goal of life. All sarva sansaya chindayante. It will cut off. Kiyante chasya karmani. All this karmic reaction we have got, that will be cleared up. Dishtra evat manishwara. Then we can know that what is the, we can know that our goal is to go back to Godhead. We are subservient of Krishna. Nitya Krishnera Dasa. Jivera Sarupove Nitya Krishnera Dasa. Then we can properly understand, realize that we are all subservient of the Lord. We are meant to serve the Lord. Then when we understand that scientific knowledge by this such process of devotional service or Krishna consciousness, then we will develop the desire, strong desire. Now I will go back to Godhead. Now we have no desire such, because we are not following the process. We are not following the process of hearing, reading books of Srila Prabhupada, hearing from Srila Prabhupada and all the devotees who are representing him, bona fide devotee who are representative him, who are presenting his teaching as it is. Unless we associate with those devotees, unless we hear from the spiritual master, pure devotee, particular Prabhupada books reading and hearing, then we will not develop that urge. śuśrūṣoḥ śraddadhānasya vāsudeva-kathā-ruciḥ. The vāsudeva-kathā unti. Vāsudeva-kathā means full of Hari Katha, Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. Then we cannot go back to Godhead. We cannot develop the desire. So that is the process. We should follow the process. Then it will be easier for us to go back to Godhead. Otherwise, very difficult. Just like Prabhupada given, before winding up, I will tell you another story, Prabhupada, another analogy, a story Prabhupada has given. That just like in India, they go to, for marriage, the bridegroom go to bride house. And there was a village, the bridegroom and all the groups, bridegroom along with his entourage, associates, they all boarded on a boat, and bride's house is the other side of the river. So whole night they are, so morning is the marriage, so entire night they are rowing the boat, boatmen rowing, and morning they wake up, they found out that they have not moved, they have not reached other side, they have not moved at all. But their whole night they are rowing. So how it is? The anchor is not lifted. The anchor, where the boat is stationed, there was a rope, and it was stationed by anchoring, and that anchor is not lifted. So although they are rowing, but the boat is rowing in this area only, it is not moving forward. Similarly, when we will still have a bodily conception of life, or we still have a material desire, strong material desire, and trying to execute spiritual things together, that will not make us to advance. We have to lift the anchor, then only we can move forward. So we have to stop this, we have to weaken this material attachment by this process of mahat-sevayā, sat mahat-sevayā viprāḥ. So in this way only we can develop this strong desire to go back to Krishna. Mahat-sevayā dvaram ahur vimuk. Syān mahat-sevayā viprāḥ puṇya-tīrtha-niṣevaṇāt. Puṇya-tīrtha means They are like a place of pilgrimage, cleans of all vice. They are very pure. Pilgrimage place is pure, so pure there. Niṣevaṇāt, by serving those devotees, we will develop the urge of hearing and ultimately go back to Godhead. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. All goes to Srila Prabhupada.